This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code SOUTHGATE to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Brian Evelyn Hill, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all. This is a world of capes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
All right. We're doing the movie reviews. Here's I'm going to say the big one, but probably the most controversial one this month, Aquaman. It's me, it's Charlie. That's right. It'll be. We'll have Lilith here eventually, but we also have special guest Marnell.
Yay, Marnell!
Look, I even dressed.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. For once.
Can you see what it says?
Podcast. Yes, naughty. Yes.
Naughty. She's a naughty girl.
Naughty elf.
Getting nothing but coal.
Work out in Alaska and Charlie Esser's television. Yeah. All right. So.
Oh yeah.
That's right, Aquaman review. Let's dive in.
That's a fish pun.
Ocean pun.
Yes. So
You
who
had-
liked the film?
What?
There we go. Good.
I didn't hate the film as much as Di did. So Di, who should be here because she is the original Aquaman aficionado, but she had to work today.
The music.
No, keep going. That's fine. No.
But she was the original Aquaman comic book fan. I'm just a tourist here. I'm the Jason Momoa fan. Di gave it a 2 out of 5.
Oh, see, that's not liking it. See, that's the thing. I wonder.
We'll see. That's why I'm waiting for Lilith too, because Lilith is a huge comic book Aquaman fan. So, and I'm pretty sure her thoughts aren't that much better. So,
he had me at permission to come aboard. It was over. The movie could have ended right there.
You're like, yeah, soldier.
You know what? Maybe that's good advice for them for the future.
Permission granted.
Yes.
This thing might even do better when it comes out for like home, Blu-ray and download because all these women like Marnell can watch it on mute.
Yeah. Like I do Game of Thrones.
What I'll say about it is, it was a great film until Aquaman showed up. And, it's just, I don't want to oversell how much I dislike this film because I loved lots of this film. I laughed, I cried, I kissed $5 goodbye. It was great. Well, actually, that's a line from Hardware Wars, just to date that. Because that was
I was going to say, I need to move wherever there's $5 movies.
No, it was like $8.
I saw it for $6.
Oh, there you go. Got to move to Philadelphia.
Well, for mine, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Matinee was like $11.25 for me. And that's non-3D.
Wow, that's crazy. That's not even Matinee here in New Jersey. That's like New York City prices.
Yep. Yeah. Welcome to the Great White North.
Damn, I took me, my wife, and my son and only paid $16.
Man.
Yeah, you realize you could move to New York City and have, subways for that.
New York City?
It's a great place to be. Well, actually, the rent's a lot higher.
Except for the people. There's too many of them. Not that the New York City people are bad. There's just too many. We're the lowest populated state.
Well, yes. No, honestly, because there's actually a scientific principle about this that basically when you get into a group of more than 20 people, eventually you start to see people as trees. That you don't even see them, you just walk right past them.
I really wish that were true in theaters.
Yes, but that is why people in cities will sometimes step over homeless people because they literally can't see them because your brain cannot process that many human beings in the same room.
Oh, I thought it was just because we were all playing The Walking Dead Our World.
No.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
champion player over there.
Oh,
that's a little bit there.
Why didn't you like Jason Momoa?
Well...
okay, no, you say so.
I think we agreed because I had the same thought, and then I thought maybe it was just me. But then when me and him and I were talking yesterday, I was like, even he was like, well, you know what? I didn't like Aquaman, the character. I was like, okay, me too. Because I think we saw in the beginning, I saw what they were trying to do. They were trying to do that Peter Parker moment, when you realize with great power comes great responsibility in the beginning with Black Manta and his father. But whereas Peter Parker just stepped out of the way and then the burglar got away and killed his uncle, Aquaman left Black Manta's father to die and basically said, go F yourself, you're gonna die. Yeah,
that's not what a hero does.
I get what they were trying to do.
He wasn't a hero at that point, was he? I mean, yes, this did take place after the Steppenwolf thing, which there's a big controversy about that.
Well, yeah, because
he didn't want to be a hero. He didn't want to be king. He just wanted to be left alone to drink his Guinness and swim.
Like I was saying, I would have liked it better if it would have been like an accidental death. Like if the father had tried to shoot at him and he like blocked it and it ricocheted and like came back at the father instead of like purposefully going, I'm leaving you to die.
So, by the way, my rant with the father dying is he was wearing a rebreather apparatus. He did not have to drown. Just saying. Yeah. I mean, I hate to be the one to point out the obvious, but that was a stupid death.
How long would that work? That was
it's a rebreather. It wasn't a tank. It was a rebreather. So, howeher long, and
how deep were the waters? How deep were the waters were they in too?
Yeah.
Would the pressure would have crushed them, or
I don't know. They just seemed like they were like fully equipped to deal with that sort of scenario.
You're saying there's a technical problem in this movie?
Oh goodness!
No,
I don't believe it.
I wouldn't say that.
They never should have put that lead in the atmosphere. That's all I'm saying.
The big thing everyone's saying about the between this and Justice League is like. In this movie, it seemed like he was going to Atlantis for the first time.
Yes.
But in Justice League, he went there and he talked to Mira.
Yep.
Which
he said on the dock, he's like, I don't even know your name. And like, we had this whole thing with her in the other movie. And I didn't really pay attention to the other movie because I didn't like it other than him.
I would have bought this as a prequel, but they mentioned Steppenwolf.
Yes.
And if this was the first DC movie you saw, you would have thought Aquaman defeated Steppenwolf by himself because there was no mention of the Justice League or any of its members. You didn't even get a shout out to Metropolis or Gotham. Nothing.
You know what? I think this was a film where they made a film and then realized, we didn't make the film we should have made. And then like went back and tried to make a different film out of all the. It's like the episode of The Simpsons where Marge finds the like couture dress on the rack at the half off sale, and she wears her beautiful suit, and then she realizes that she can't always wear the same suit, so she cuts it up and starts sewing it into different patterns, and eventually that all falls apart. Well, that's sort of what I feel about this film. It's like they had a film that might have been a decent film.
The only Simpsons drop out.
But it was a decent film, but then they had to recut it and re-edit it and re-figure out how to make it work. And I think that I don't know if it was a director trying to make something that wasn't good, or a studio that was trying to make something that wasn't good, better, but what they got was something that was bad.
It was kind of like, forget everything that happened in that other movie except for the parts that we need you to remember.
I think maybe James Wan didn't want that Justice League baggage, and the studio was like, "Yeah, fine, don't saddle yourself."
But then, it's like you can't do that. I mean, first off, it's too soon to do that. You can like ignore something that happened in Iron Man 1 in Avengers 4 because no one remembers what the heck happened in Iron Man 1. I mean, like that was like 20 years ago. It's great to have something, but you can't do like. Oh, remember that film last year? Just forget about it. Unless you're going to do a solid reboot and a solid prequel reboot,
Right.
Which they could have done easily and said this takes place before the events of that film.
I think they're trying to do like a soft reboot, but no one ever wants to say reboot anymore. I think they're sticking with solo movies now, like Aquaman.
I was going to say it almost seems like the team movies and the individual movies almost take place in separate universes.
Yeah, I don't. They weren't ready for Justice League, and they jumped the gun on Suicide Squad.
They did.
They should have did all these solo movies first. This would have been a great. I mean, this movie would have been better if it had come out before Justice League.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, although I still think that the central problem of it is that Aquaman's not a nice person. That Aquaman's not a very nice person and never becomes a nice person. He only becomes, and he only says, "Oh, I think I screwed up when I did that," because it's going to hurt Mira, not because the guy shouldn't leave someone to die a horrible death. You shouldn't let someone die a horrible death just because they shot at you.
All right, time to drop my Hellfire bomb.
Lilith's here!
Hey!
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
It's okay. We were just discussing how to say I want to have your baby in Dothraki. No, Charlie was dumping on Aquaman. Not the movie, the guy.
How the character's not a nice person.
Okay.
It's a bad character.
I have to get this off my chest. The reason why Aquaman's character is so bad is basically because it's just Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa on film with everybody acting like they're in a movie besides him.
Oh, that's why I loved it.
But I thought that was the provocation. That man's got a Me Too moment. You wait. That guy
No way.
No, he doesn't. I wouldn't say
He was ripping pages out of books.
Like I call Ben Affleck's drinking problem. I would say that I wouldn't say that Jason Momoa has a Me Too problem. He has a look at me problem. He's the center of attention.
Marnell's like, that's no problem.
No problem here. No, he's actually been in love with his wife, Lisa Bonet, since he was 8 years old. He actually admitted to stalking her and, marrying her. That's
not a selling point. You say, I used to be her stalker.
It's the Urkel effect that we don't have time to talk about. So, let's get back to the movie. How far are we in?
Well,
not very far.
3 glasses in, if anybody needs to know.
We were talking like that beginning part on the submarine where basically, Aquaman, they're trying to go for that Peter Parker moment, but basically he leaves Black Manta's father to die. It's like, basically go F yourself.
Well, and we were pretending that Justice League never happened except for the parts that we need to know about in this movie.
It's all, and they did edit that. Aquaman's been through 6 edits.
Yeah.
I've seen the first one, the 4th one, and this final one. And honestly, to be honest, I saw the preview screening, and it still looked like the CGI was just a tad bit unfinished. I don't know if that was just me.
Did they have the person who did Tron do the CGI?
I mean, the CGI is not that bad. It was very, I want to be Wakanda Black Panther moment when we enter Atlantis, and that's at its height where it's just kind of like, I don't know about the CGI. Yeah. Also, when they're fighting the trench creatures, I'm like,
oh, see,
what was the thing with the trench creature? Well, no, please talk.
Oh no, I had visions of what was that? The movie on the other planet with the big blue people.
Avatar.
Avatar.
I had the Avatar moment when we went. I didn't have the Wakanda thing. I had the Avatar thing because it was all glowy.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, do you have to be heavy CGI because it's so much of it's underwater?
Underwater. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it, but the CGI is not good, is my point.
Yeah. well, in earlier drafts, Lilith, did they actually mention the Justice League or?
Yeah.
Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
They mentioned Steppenwolf.
They edited it around it, and I think that I'm okay with that because we don't need to be reminded of that.
Amen.
But then don't even mention Steppenwolf. Then they mentioned Steppenwolf at one time, and I'm like, okay, because otherwise you could have even
they already shot the scene
this is the prequel or something. That Justice League.
James Wan has a very so let me just get this off my chest, right? I've said from the beginning, I didn't think that Aquaman was a very good story that they chose because they tried to cram too much in, but I thought that it was visually nice. And everybody else besides Jason Momoa did a great acting job of pretending that they were actual characters in a movie and not just themselves. I really enjoyed Nicole Kidman. I thought she was BAMF.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet you she was pretending those stunt people were Tom Cruise.
They gave her the greatest fight scene.
They did. Yes. I love it.
Yes. Honestly, I want to watch that movie. That's the thing. It's everyone had this thing. I want to watch everybody else's movie, not Aquaman's movie.
This is the most interesting thing about Aquaman, though. Technically, both his parents are alive, and this is the only person who has both their parents in all of the Justice League.
But he didn't know that. He thought his mom was dead.
But I'm just saying, they framed his story as his parents' love story, and I kind of dug that a little bit. I thought that was definitely the biggest change of pace.
I think Diane hated that most.
As a DC fan, where they just kill off, like, Wonder Woman's mom, she can't ever visit again. She's estranged from her dad. Like let somebody have some freaking parents, okay? So
well,
that's all I'm saying.
Clark has Ma and Pa Kent still.
No.
Well, and if you have both parents, apparently, according to Charlie, you turn out to be a horrible person.
No, actually,
what does that mean for Superboy? Uh-oh.
No, actually, Clark Kent is like the one guy that actually is a decent human being. But no, this is the thing. It's like this film made me say, gee, how did they make Aquaman less likable than Batman?
Because it's Jason Momoa. Like, Jason Momoa pretending to be Aquaman. I love Jason Momoa. I think he was a big draw for a lot of people. Had they gone with like some typical blonde hair, blue eyed actor, I don't think people would have rallied around this film as much as they have. But I've always said I like Jason Momoa as a person. Well, until he did that to Amber Heard and all those things. But like, he's just not the right person for Aquaman, and I stand by that.
I think they're sticking with the Vinny Chase thing. That's the problem. It's like
Yes, that was the inside joke this whole time about the entourage from Adrian Garnier being Aquaman and Mandy Moore being Mira. Like, yes, oh my God. I was just like, you couldn't let go for this.
Yeah,
that's really the biggest, funniest thing ever. Yes.
Well, not funny, except it's like it honestly, yeah, I felt that this did seem like this is exactly what Vinny Chase's Aquaman would be.
It's Warner Brothers being Warner Brothers is all that I will say.
You know,
a little too.
Yeah, it just, like I said, you know what? And here's the thing: it's like they could have fixed it so easily. Because here's the thing: the reason why the Black Manta father death scene is so awful for Aquaman is because just before that, they say, oh, by the way, you know, your grandfather was the first Navy frogman, but then he came back, and then, you know, a bunch of Klansmen tried to lynch him because he's black, because he's, you know, all this kind of stuff. And that's why we're pirates, because what else can we be in a world that hates us for who we are? And then Jason Momoa comes in and is like, haha, I'm bulletproof, and all you humans are nothing to me. Smacky, smacky. Huge death count in this film. Can we just say, like, there's like a lot of people that are just being murdered, straight up murdered left and right by freaking Aquaman. Like all these freaking Atlantean soldiers they're straight up murdering. They're freaking sentient beings. These aren't like, you know, these aren't people that are, you know, these aren't robots. They're not
contractors on the Death Star or anything.
Well, no, you know what? They made a choice.
I mean, for work for Evil Inc. But I mean, an entire town in Italy, gone.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think
all that.
Okay, so the Black Manta thing, I feel like they were trying to. I feel like this wasn't the same original thing from the first like 2 or 3 scripts. I feel like they saw Black Panther and they were like, "We need an Eric Killmonger."
Yeah.
No, like literally in my head, they were like, "We need to kill my." I'm like, "But wait, you already have Ocean Master. We could just wait on the." Okay, we left Black Manta in. It's fine. I wanted Michael Beach to be Black Manta. I was like, I don't care about this kid. This is Michael Beach. Damn it! What do we do? Yeah. We're killing him.
Manta just seemed like an afterthought because it was like that one scene, and then and it just seemed all out of left field that he was working with Ocean Master.
Yeah.
Well, see, but all that made sense to me. Yeah,
but Ocean Master hates like the entire surface world, but he's going to work with this guy.
Evil does to get to where he needs to be.
Yeah, enemy of my enemy.
Yeah. Well, he needed someone to steal the sub, and so everything made sense. All throughout it, honestly, everything made sense. Even Aquaman being awful in that first scene, because it's his first scene. He has time for a redemptive arc. They never did it, and they never gave Manta.
Up to the fact that he made his own arch nemesis, basically. He does own up to that.
Well, it's like Charlie said. He didn't even care about that until, you know, Manta almost like murders his girlfriend.
Yeah, you almost murdered Pretty Girl.
Yeah,
Pretty Girl. It was a very sociopathic way to be. And he was
I mean, but when you think about it, the modern day interpretations of every single Superman film, Superman doesn't care about humanity. Superman cares about Lois Lane. Sit on that for a moment.
That's not a good thing. That's not a selling
I know,
thing.
but it's par for the course at this point. It's my point.
But the idea, that's the thing. It's like they're clearly trying. This is, to me, this was DC's Illumination film, which is like there are Pixar films and there are Illumination films. Illumination. They're perfectly serviceable films. They're very profitable, very marketable. They do not put the effort into story in Illumination that they do at Pixar. And, hey, you know what?
It's not that it wasn't a good story. It was just they didn't want to pick. There were 5 different stories going on, and they didn't know which one they wanted to focus on.
Yep.
The love story.
No. They focused on Aquaman and Aquaman's story. They didn't write well. That's the thing. It's like Aquaman's story could have been great if they had given him a redemptive arc. If they had
not thrown him into Justice League. Like if this, like not for nothing, that really hindered him, Cyborg.
This movie should. Again, all these solo movies should have come before Justice League, and Suicide Squad should have come after Justice League.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously.
Again, look to the Marvel model. They put in the time. They did those solo movies. Then they did Avengers 1.
Yeah, and they didn't panic just because Hulks don't sell in movies.
Exactly.
And now we know, and that's the point. Now we know.
Yeah.
You just gotta get yourself a Ruffalo. That's all. Now
I mean, not for nothing. I mean, there are lots of things I liked about this film. I love the Baywatch slow motion moving references there. Those are good. All the spraying.
Hey.
And I can appreciate a Jason Momoa. I'm not going to say he's not a handsome man. He is
a beautiful movie with a terrible story.
There's a lot of pretty people in this. Momoa.
Why did they amp up Amber Heard's hair to like ultra super red? Like I was watching Justice League and I'm like, I know we're underwater. Like maybe that's why they did it, but it's like it was just like such this drastic change. It's like okay, you see this guy in Justice League, and then this guy shows up. He doesn't even have the armor. Like okay, whatever. He's literally in his pants, like dress pants, for like 3/4 of the movie.
I'm fine with that. But no, Amber Heard's hair bugged a lot of us. Like they were making her Ariel or something, and when she
Poison Ivy.
Okay.
When she ate the roses in Italy, I'm just waiting for her to pull out a fork and call it a dingle hopper.
Yeah.
And she was wearing green. Yeah.
Yes, it was like Ariel 2.0 badly.
But you know what? I actually liked that aspect of it because there was this whole quality of there where if you think about it, she has never eaten food that has a crunch before.
And she's never seen a Riz, probably.
Yeah, I mean, she's never eaten land food, which has crunch and crispiness.
And the flower stand is right there next to the fruit stand and stuff. So
roses are related to apples, though. So you know,
you can actually eat a rose.
I eat it in ice cream all the time. The petals.
As I was watching, you have no idea how many pesticides are on non-food grade.
She's been breathing pesticides in the ocean for a long time now.
Oh my God!
Pesticides on Earth too.
I love it. I'm not saying Atlanteans, but Atlanteans guy. Like, oh my God. I was like, yes, give me real fish conspiracy. Yes. Atlanteans, and look, they even did it in the Sahara where everybody thinks Atlantis might have been. Like the whole thing. I was just like, yes, I see what you did there.
And we journeyed to the center of the earth.
Yeah.
I was like, the rocks don't
this. But here's the thing. It's like, Atlantis' entire complaint is surface dwellers are polluting the oceans with their stuff. Meanwhile, it's like, but we unlocked free energy like 5,000 years ago. It's like, well, maybe if you gave surface dwellers free energy.
Surface dwellers are bad. Boo!
Yeah,
Charlie.
Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah,
it's like, because here was the thing. Because one of the things they showed how evil surface dwellers are is they're showing them killing whales. Meanwhile, Atlanteans don't talk to whales. Only Aquaman can talk to whales. So
Yeah, I want to know.
They've been slaying the seahorse dragons and the sharks.
The first
their
thing-
mode of
Yeah,
transportation.
I would like to point out that the first thing that Nicole Kidman did is eat a fish.
Pet
Yeah.
goldfish.
They're not vegans. Like,
no,
screw
they're not.
them. They're killing.
Vegan society would collapse.
They're killing
everything that
whales
we
for
know.
clothing.
Yeah, they are.
Oh,
I mean,
and
that's-
Mirror was rocking what? Octopus and jellyfish dress? Where's underwater Peter when you need him?
Because to them, the fish aren't sent. That's the thing, is like, Aquaman is tied into the web of the sea.
Because nobody else can.
And so
talk
any
to
sea creature he can talk to, and he knows that they have an entire inner life. In the same way that, Ant-Man can talk to ants.
Okay, wait, pause. Maybe you can help me, Marnell. Is the young Jason Momoa legal? That the guy that played young baby, not the little kid, but the teen Aquaman. Is he legal? I just need to know that for reason.
I don't think so.
Damn
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Okay. I'll put the timer on for when he turns 18.
Need to
That's
get
fine.
my unpopular opinion out of my mouth.
That wasn't unpopular. that was
actually no. I think Teen Aquaman. I mean, he had, and he was fairly bold. He's in the later stages of puberty. If he wasn't at the time of filming, I'm sure he's 18 by now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So
anyway, but yeah.
Although,
Willem Dafoe was my everything in this movie, by the way. He totally redeemed his Green Goblin performance. I was like, yes, finally.
Yeah, I don't trust him. I
loved him. Every minute of him on screen. I loved it. I was like, how far back did they had to pull his face though? I can't tell if it was CGI, makeup, or did they do like the whole rubber band behind the ear?
Well, I think
sure
in
they
the
did.
flashbacks they did that CGI de-aging
Yeah,
thing.
I'm sure they did the proper
Yeah.
CGI.
That was like I said, Tron level CGI at that point. Nicole Kidman's was all her dermatologist. I have to point that out. She looked fantastic, but the Willem Dafoe smooth, wrinkle-free face, no, that was CGI.
Yeah, that was.
Honestly, I think it was a mix of practical effects and CGI. They did the old rubber band test.
Well, anyway, here's my thing with Willem Dafoe. He's clearly playing both sides against the middle.
Duplicitous.
Oh,
Yeah, the whole thing. And it's like, well, everyone thinks I'm their friend, and everyone thinks I'm the hero, but he's going to betray all of them the minute the opportunity. He's like, what was it, Littlefinger or something?
Yeah.
But is he
Well, he could be Varys for all we know.
or is he like what's her face from Black Panther? It's like, I'm loyal to the throne. Whoever's on the throne,
Yeah, but
he wasn't really loyal to Orm if he's going behind his back to train his half brother.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
He's one of those that was playing both sides to hedge his bets. It was like, I'm going to be the king's hand or I'm going to be the king's hand. Like, I come out on top no matter what.
Everyone thinks I'm different, and I love that, but that's why I don't trust him, and I think that's why Willem Dafoe.
Maybe Aquaman is secretly his son, because him and Aquaman's mama had something going on.
Oh, my queen!
No, but the time doesn't work for it.
You don't know what they was doing when she was jumping off that water while poor Mr. Curry was out
they
working
actually
the
say
light.
it was like a year later that Aquaman is born, so... Now, granted, we don't know the gestation period.
You don't know what she's doing in those nightly laps around the bay. You don't know.
You don't know.
Maybe she ran away because she was pregnant.
Duplicitous. Looking at you, Mira.
Okay, let me put it this way. You don't have Willem Dafoe and Nicole Kidman have a trial and have it look like Jason Momoa. You need
Point taken.
You need some Polynesian in that.
Have you never seen Cinderella with Brandy? I'm just saying, movies are movies.
We can suspend our belief with people with fishtails, but Jason Momoa coming out of that union, no.
Oh, by the way, can I just say, I was so sad that Fish Princess got such short shrift in this. When they go to the fisherman,
that one kingdom, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, we just go to dad.
Made me leave the army? That made me cry a little bit.
Yeah, it was like, what the heck? It was
Ocean
crazy.
Master don't care.
I just killed your father in front of you. Now you will do what I say.
I loved Ocean Master in this movie. Like, I always get him confused. Was it Jason what's his face or Patrick what's his face? I think it was Patrick Wilson.
It was Patrick
Patrick
Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah.
They could play twins. I'm just saying that's probably his stunt double, Jason, the guy from Sex and the City. You know, Samantha's Taming of the Shrew guy. Yeah.
You know, he's a good actor. I just wish they would have given him a little more.
Oh, he is such a serious actor.
Yeah.
I was so shocked to see him like get cast in this movie because he's very much a Daniel Day-Lewis kind of guy. I was very surprised.
So I found it funny that he kind of looks like the Aquaman from the comic books.
Yes.
Yeah.
That irony not lost on me.
Right? Okay. I was like, I'm not a book fan, so...
And then him pairing with Nicole Kidman, I was like, that's some damn good casting.
Yeah, well, I mean, they obviously thought it through, and that is probably intentional. Well, you know...
We are 40 minutes in and we have not said Dolph Lundgren's name. I just have to point that out.
Arrow did it first. That's all I'm saying.
Ivan Drago.
I must
Marvel
break
did it
you.
first, man. That's the Punisher.
Oh, yeah.
He was.
That will always be my Punisher. He's actually a really good actor.
Dolph, I love Dolph.
I think he's really glad that he's now at a stage in his life where he can play the Falstaff role. He can play the old soldier with stories.
The old general or king, yeah.
Exactly. He doesn't have to be, you know,
the young superhero.
He doesn't have to be just muscles and grease, although he can still pull off muscles and grease if you want him to.
As seen in Arrow season 5 or 6.
Yeah.
5.
So he gets these deeper, more complex roles that he always wanted, and he excels at them. And yeah, he was great as Mira's father. And I love what one of my favorite aspects of this film is the fact that it is revealed that basically they wanted this war. This was like you know, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen idea that you know, the war is coming, and the people who run these worlds want this war. The kingdoms of Atlantis, which not for nothing are still freaking kingdoms, not parliamentary democracies. They are freaking kingdoms where trial by combat is determining stuff. They need something to keep their people, and not for nothing, this isn't like a little town like Wakanda, because Wakanda, it's a small country. And they clearly have got the wealth enough to keep the population happy with the monarchy. You can't do that in the freaking ocean. Because there's like 7 different kingdoms, 3 different species.
They whittled it down to 4.
Well, yeah, but
that's
there's
a manageable number for the new king, Aquaman.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people. And honestly, they need to honestly, the best thing would be if they ever do an Aquaman 2, which they probably will. The first thing should be, you know what? Why don't we just instill a parliamentary democracy? I'll just be a figurehead king. I'll sign laws.
That is actually going to be a thing eventually if we ever get far enough. Probably like Aquaman 3.
But you'll be like, you know, I don't see a reason I should be ruling absolutely over people. That seems like a bad idea in general. Having anyone with absolute power. If he's from the surface and he sees democracy in this modern day and age, maybe he has all the reason to want to be a king. But no, he's seen a Republican democracy, not a parliamentary democracy. Parliamentary democracies tend to be a little more effective.
Brexit would like to have a word with you.
Brexit was about actually.
Yes, I know what it was about. I'm just saying.
There's a lot going on there.
Just because their political season's only 6 weeks long doesn't mean it isn't absolutely as insane as ours is.
Bonkers.
That's right. They all get bonkers. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, obviously the kingdoms, the most powerful kingdoms, and not for nothing, why does one of these kingdoms have like a massive army? Who are they fighting?
They were waiting for the day the surface dwellers finally got out of hand. That's what they were waiting for.
Here's the thing: America has a massive military, but America fights a war every 10 years or so.
We haven't stopped fighting since I've been alive, but whatever.
Well, I mean, no, we used to take breaks in between. Now we realize you can you have these smaller wars on a constant basis.
Get them out of here.
It's great, but who are the Atlanteans fighting? Why is there this great army of Atlantis that...
Oh, Ocean Master's been planning this for years.
Yeah.
It comes from their long tradition. They probably used to war against each other. They really didn't they really, really like just barely scratched the surface of Atlantis history. And I like that they threw that in. But I was just like, really? We're going here? We've got time for this movie?
Or maybe they were planning, they didn't mention it, but maybe they were planning for an invasion from Darkseid's forces. Steppenwolf.
Oh yeah, true.
Well, and look at all those trench creatures. Like, those things have been down there breeding like wildfire. We were going to have to defend ourselves against them at some point as Atlanteans. Like, you know, they were...
Well, especially just to dump off the people we want killed, too, because that's, you know, didn't they have to take Aquaman's mother and dump her off the boat there or something?
Other people, too, yeah.
Yeah.
Although what I think is the big the hidden truth of that is that all the trench creatures are actually completely sentient.
Yeah.
That they're no different than the crustacean or the brine, you know. They're just funny looking to you.
They're the most other looking.
Yeah, well, you know, and not for nothing, clearly Atlantis is a very racist society because only the highborns can breathe air too, you know.
Yeah, but they were a pretty, like, they were the violent creatures. Sorry, I'm dog sitting, and they're very barky little dogs.
That's okay.
But yeah, so the creatures from the trench were like, they were animals. They may have been sentient beings, but I don't think they were any like more like, they weren't like philosophers like the people with tails.
Well, but the fact of the matter is,
you saw the nice little portal they had guarding their world. That was kind of an hint. I'm just saying.
Julie Andrews would beg to differ.
Yes. Oh my
Julie
God!
Andrews.
I was like, Julie Andrews, you're not in Return of Mary Poppins, but you're in this movie. I love you even more.
There's a lot of Marvel poaching going on. You know, this was get us everyone from a Disney
everyone.
Yes.
Just give us everyone.
Yes, but no, but in it as this elder Cthulhu, which I love. In fact, what did they call it? The Kraken, you know, because I guess Kraken is owned by somebody at this point.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Disney.
I'm sure.
Disney.
Well, that would be Disney. So yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll show up in the Namor movie when they do Aquaman, right?
Yeah, well, that's what
Namor will be a terrible movie. Nobody's interested. That's why Universal lost the rights.
I think they were trying to make this a Namor movie, well, understanding that Namor is not Aquaman. Namor has always been a villain. People forget that.
Yeah.
You know, he fought the Nazis in the same way Stalin fought the Nazis. Mm-hmm. But aside from him fighting Nazis, he was always a villain in his pieces.
I mean, you can tell by the eyebrows, for goodness sakes. Same thing with Jason Momoa. Just saying. I'm just saying. There's a reason why they decided to lean into that with this Aquaman. It's always the eyebrows.
And again, I'm sorry, but what made Arthur worthy of being king? I mean,
he's from both. He's a child of two worlds.
Bridge.
But that didn't give him.
This is from people who are too old to have read Harry Potter.
I guess.
Child of two world trumps everything.
I guess, but I mean, that's all you need to be worthy. You don't have to be smart. I mean, so he already proved he wasn't smart.
Clearly not.
You know,
and he's
over brain apparently.
And he didn't have warrior skills. He couldn't beat Ocean Master until he got the magic MacGuffin.
You can marry smart. It's fine. It'll be fine.
Well, and that's the kind of the point of Mirror, really, when you think about it in the comic books. Mm-hmm. And I'm so mad that we are kowtowing to the Chinese marketplace for movies now, because Atlantis is a lot about sorcery, and that's why all that water spinning and stuff, I was like, oh, we can't talk about that because China. Thanks China.
Lucky we squeaked Doctor Strange through.
Like that annoyed me more than everything, because that's when Mira really shines, is her sorcery technical abilities and stuff, and I was just like, that's why she got really shortchanged. I'm just saying.
I loved it when he's like, show off, I could have just peed on it.
Yeah.
What a Dothraki dork.
Yeah. Well, you know, I actually kind of like, because that was like, oh, it's like a reference to Fifth Element, you know?
Yes, I totally felt the Fifth Element right there.
Yeah, it's that Fifth Element quality. Although, not for nothing, how is it that, it's completely dry, that's why it won't work, but one drop of water...
They were very efficient in their technology.
Yeah.
But it's not like there's...
He's jealous.
That's why you bury it in the desert, because all it takes is one drop of water.
Yep.
It does rain in the desert, though. It's like,
but it was underground though too.
But the two things had to come together. The video thing, yeah, and then the VHS player.
They needed their Alexa, and they needed
that was
water.
Betamax. I hate to bring it to you.
that was definitely
Betamax was superior, but it was also Sony, thus more expensive, and was proprietary technology, so nobody could get behind it and open source it.
Well, and then the porn industry picked up VHS, so that's why.
Yeah, believe me, I know. Forehead VCRs. You're welcome, America. You got porn to thank for that.
Thank you, porn expert Lil Felfire.
Yes.
Assisted by Marnell.
Yeah, it's been 50 minutes. Like, that's a record for us.
What? Before you talk about porn?
Before we talk about porn. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would just like to say, we've been talking about Jason Momoa.
This is definitely a film for porn.
It's lady porn. I hate to break it to you. He's literally without his shirt for like 3/4 of the movie.
So
you know what I'm Googling right after we get off here.
What are you saying? Is the porn parody going to have a better plot?
Well, they usually do.
Fun fact is, I hate Pirates of the Caribbean, but the porn parody is actually pretty freaking amazing.
Yes, it is.
I'm just gonna leave that there for you guys. You can.
Is that with Evan Stone? I know they did a whole porn.
They have like the whole trilogy or whatever.
Yeah.
But was that with Evan Stone or was that with someone else?
That's with somebody else.
Oh, Evan. Yeah.
I mean, there's multiple ones, but the most high quality one, they have like the whole.
Pirates,
they go all out.
Yeah.
Evan Stone
on a ship and everything.
So if we're gonna cut down Deadpool to be PG-13 for Christmas, we need to cut down Pirates the porn so that it can be aired on cable.
I was going to say Aquaman.
Well, there you go. Well, if it's on cable, then they don't have to cut it that much.
No, they don't.
You just have to remove the penises.
Yeah, and nipples.
HBO. Actually, HBO, since it got bought by Warner's, no longer does late night.
Oh, HBO and Cinemax are together, so there's no more Cinemax? That's what you're telling me?
Well, I don't know about Cinemax, but HBO. No, because that was like the first thing I noticed. Because I'm in my AT&T Warner's universe bubble, and they give you HBO for free with it now when you get the unlimited plan with the DirecTV now.
That's right, people. This movie was so good. They're talking about porn now.
Yeah.
Somebody has to talk about it
after the after hours section. It has been removed. You no longer have after hours on HBO.
What's this Puritans? I mean, Tumblr doesn't even have porn on it anymore, dang it.
Damn, child predators? I know, right?
God.
Tumblr, as a person who used Tumblr for a long time, I'm so glad they actually are doing something about it. I think it's an overreaction, but I'm glad they're doing something about it. So, that's the topic for another day. Anyway.
I'm just saying we're all Puritans.
Yes, there are a lot of Puritans.
Think of the children.
Goodbye, porn.
Yeah. No, porn will survive.
Stop thinking of the children. Stop thinking of the children.
I don't even like children.
Somebody think of the adult.
Luca.
By the way, Kikuwa Kikamau, the kid that played the 16-year-old Jason Momoa, the 16-year-old Arthur, he is 20, Lilith. He is fair game.
Nobody tell Bay. Nobody tell Bay.
Oh, Lord, another Mark Harmon moment.
You edit this out, Philip. Philip, can you guess my favorite moment in the movie?
Oh, Mark Harmon can get it.
What?
Can you guess it?
Let me think. I'm drawing a blank here. What?
Really, Philip? I can't believe you. Topo playing the drums, like they actually worked that in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Octopus playing the drums. That was great.
Yeah, that's his pet octopus. His pet octopus. I was about to say something else. From comic book canon.
Okay, James Bond.
Although technically this would be before he was his pet octopus.
Yes. It was just like a little cameo, and I thought it was cute.
And to be fair, he's not his pet, he's his friend.
He's his pet.
You know.
My pets are my friends.
This was like in the 60s. It was his pet, not his friend.
My pets are my friends.
Sentient pets.
They're my only friends.
So is Crypto a friend of of Superboy, or is he actually his pet? I think he's his
Depends
friend.
on what year. It depends on what year it was written. That's all I'm saying. Now, sure. Doesn't even wear collar and leash. I get it.
All I could hear over and over in my head is Raj from Big Bang Theory going, "Dude, Aquaman sucks."
Oh my god, we were joking about that all the way there. Like, seriously, like I was looking for that costume because that's the only cosplay that I would have done is the Big Bang Aquaman with the little seahorse.
Seahorse.
They don't have it. They don't have it. I was so bummed.
I liked the armor at the end.
Yeah,
it was well done.
I think they really managed to figure out a way to make Aquaman's outfit look good.
Yeah.
Okay, unpopular opinion then. That looks like a pajama set that my grandma would have knitted me with a sequin.
It was armor, Lilith. It was literally armor.
Sequin pajamas.
With like gauntlets.
Changed my mind. Sequin pajamas. Orange and green sequin pajamas. Once you hear this and go back and watch it, it cannot be unseen.
Can I have
unpopular opinion out of my mouth?
Can Lilith Nana knit me a pair of pajamas?
Apparently she's a really good knitter.
I want sequins pajamas. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Oh, can I just say what is my biggest nerd complaint about this film of all nerd complaints?
Air bubbles?
No,
oh, yeah,
referring to Aquaman's pentdent as a trident. When he's holding his mom's pentdent with 5 prongs, calling it a trident. Because it's not a trident. A trident only has 3 prongs. If it has more than 3 prongs, it's a big fork.
And they claim to have free energy. Posers!
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's just bad grammar. And I don't cotton to that. It's just,
maybe it doesn't translate well from Atlantean.
It's a big fork.
Don't step all over that. Marnell and Lilith were waiting all movie for that trident fight.
No, actually, if Ocean Master would have took his shirt off, that would have made the movie just like 25% better. If Ocean Master 2 had been traipsing around the whole movie without his shirt on. Just throwing that out there for the sequel.
This would have been the porn parody.
Just throwing that out there for the sequel.
Okay, so one of my favorite scenes actually had nothing to do with Jason Momoa being shirtless. Surprisingly, the entire audience like gasped when he was in the submarine and he had the guy like over his shoulders and he just ran through the porthole door and the guy just like. Yeah, this was a really violent movie for, PG-13? Yeah. Like you were saying, a lot of deaths, but that was kind of an awesome scene. That was very, very Khal Drogo.
When he comes through the porthole and he like picks up the door and uses it as a shield, I'm like, okay, Captain America.
They're trying.
I can do this all day. Do this all day.
On your left.
Yeah, it's just it's a film.
It was a change of pace, definitely. And I just want to say that even though I hate Man of Steel, I do think that Zod is a better villain than Ocean Master at this point.
Yeah, honestly,
because people are arguing about that, so I'm just going to let you know Zod is better. Ocean Master's costume is better, but Zod's better.
Who knows? Maybe we'll get it.
I haven't even seen that, and I was surprised when people started saying, "Oh, Ocean Master is such a great villain." It's like, really? That's a great villain? It's
well, you can understand his point of view though, and he's hot. So look at Loki. Just saying.
No, I can't necessarily. That's the thing. Is like I don't think he has a really. He's not Killmonger. He doesn't have a strong point of view. He's not a guy with a real argument for his point of view, except for the fact that
it's surface dwellers. I totally
I don't think
it's not even really surface dwellers because that we see is just a ruse for the Atlantean military industrial
power grab.
This was the theme of this movie. F the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
and it's not even F the other guy. It's
water, so it's lubricated.
Yeah, he was very F the other, not even just the other guy. Like I think it would have gone surface dwellers, then the non-humanoid creatures under the sea, and then the fishtail ones, and then anybody who's not elite. Like, he was totally, I mean, this was a final solution for this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a Nazi.
He'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be back.
Oh, yeah, and what about
That's
not
right.
killing him in the end? Like, that's totally going to come back and bite us in the butt.
Although,
Well,
maybe if his mother softens him while she visits him in prison,
Well,
Oh,
here,
it's-
a mother's love can cure a lot.
I've got the plot for Aquaman 2 if they get there. I think they deeply implied it, but I don't think anyone ever came out and said it. Was Orm's father dead?
Yes.
I think they implied it, but did anyone ever come out and say it?
Nobody, no death.
Or maybe they think he's dead. I mean, they thought his mother was dead.
yeah, well, he's the king, so he's obviously there's
Or was
no.
he just regent? Who knows? Maybe his father's out on business. He was trying to do a
Maybe
coup
he killed his
before
own
his father
father.
came
Or
back.
he got stranded somewhere, or maybe he found a surface dweller.
Who
Daddy's
knows?
on vacation, Forrest.
Papa was a rolling sea stone.
Anyway,
I'm too drunk for this.
yeah, but, yeah. Orm gets to live, and Black Manta's father has to die, and Black Manta, as far as freaking Aquaman's concerned, could be dead too. But can we talk about Randall Park?
Yes, let's talk.
I love the fact that they brought in Randall Park in this. It really surprised me that it actually makes me sad because this means we're not going to get a Jimmy Woo thing. Because I really wanted that Agents of Atlas storyline with Jimmy Woo, but obviously
But it's Marvel.
pushing that aside. Well, no. I mean with Marvel because he played FBI agent Jimmy Woo in the second
Ant-Man.
Yeah. Ant-Man Wasp, yeah.
Yes, so I was really hoping because it was clearly I really felt there was something more with Jimmy Woo that they didn't really explore. They were doing bumbling detective, but I kind of felt that was a ruse.
Yeah, but couldn't they do something where like
that?
Well, couldn't they do something where, like, in the even number, in the odd number of years he does Marvel, and the even number of years he does DC?
Well, no. The problem is that you have contractual obligations that you're not allowed, and obviously they didn't give him that contractual obligation. Which
And
means
you
they
know
weren't
when I
paying
knew
him.
when the Superman movies were done? When Lawrence Fishburne showed up in Marvel, I was like, oh, we won't be getting a new Superman movie for quite a while.
Yeah, but anyway, but no, I loved seeing Randall Park in there. I love the fact that they basically are making Black Manta an Iron Man character, where he's like disassembling all the Atlantean tech and rebuilding it to, make his own armor. I thought that those scenes were fantastic. Like I said, there's so many things that were just fantastic associated with the Black Manta film that I would have really rather seen. That
I would have rather
really
Michael
distracts-
Beach than Black Manta. No offense to the kid, but I'm just saying,
Okay,
it's Michael Beach.
I don't know who Michael Beach necessarily is. I guess he's an actor. That's good. I mean, that's great. It's great that another actor could have done the job. I liked the story that we got for this character. Another actor might have been a better actor in that moment. That's fine. I'm not going to
I don't
argue
know.
that. I'm saying
Black Manta's
I'm saying
story
there
was
was a
weak,
great
like
story.
compared
Yeah.
to what they've been doing with Black Manta lately, and to make him an outsider, like I don't know how I feel about
Like,
it.
like I said, he seemed like an afterthought. Like they just added him in at the last minute. They could have
Like,
did
because
so
we're
much
gonna
more
do a
with him.
sequel about him, so we got to throw him in here. Yeah, that's what that was, and that's why
Well,
we got the end credit
yeah.
scene that we got.
He's not dead. Come back.
Well, we got Randall Park and Black Manta forming their own Legion of Doom.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're gonna form their own league.
Yes, a league of their own now. And I don't know, is
1,000 leagues
Randall
under
Park's
the
character? Is Randall Park's character? And I don't know his character's name, but is that a character in DC or?
Yeah, it's from
Does
New
he
52,
hang out
though,
with
isn't
them?
it?
I think so.
The storyline that they're going with, I feel like it's from New 52. They did shy away from a lot of New 52 stuff, which I appreciated for
Dr.
Aquaman.
Stephen Shin.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, he was cool.
He did
and I hope
he did
to
have a
see more of him.
name. He wasn't just like Doctor at the end. He
No,
was
I know
Dr.
he
Stephen Shin.
had a name. I just didn't know it off the top of my head.
Yeah, he was in the news clip, and like I said, I love that part. I'm not saying Atlanteans, but
Yeah. So I mean,
Yes,
was-
Lilith is on the
it was a
money.
better movie
Debuted
than
during the
many
New
things.
52. Yes.
as much as I don't like New 52, I did read New 52 Aquaman, which was pretty boss, but they did make a lot of missteps. So I was, I was glad they kind of steered away from that and gave us some classic stuff.
yeah.
They had to cram it all in there.
was a long movie. I'm not gonna lie. I got bored at like
2 hours 20 minutes.
7. I was just like,
I was told that I was checking my watch, but I was actually Diane was she texted me like 9 times while I was in the movie. And so my wrist was buzzing like crazy. I was not actually checking my watch. I was trying not to not look at the screen because, Jason Momoa. But yeah, like every time I looked, I was like, holy crap, like they gotta wrap this up in like, I don't know, 20, 40 minutes, something like that. Mm-hmm. And it just kept going.
Well, get ready because Endgame's gonna be much longer.
Well, that's it. Well, the movie's gonna be better though.
Gonna need a catheter.
You hope. Fanboys will still go pay the money, but you hope.
Actually put an intermission in Endgame. I hope they do. Movies used to have intermissions because they understood you might have to.
How old are you, Charlie?
I think the last
back when I saw the black and white pictures, they had it.
Are you seeing road shows, Charlie?
Vaudeville.
It was like Gone with the Wind had an intermission.
No, the last great musical in the 70s had an intermission, but it was a road show.
Wait, to be fair,
we're gonna leave Charlie alone. I'm sorry.
I simply know a bit about film history and know that they used to have intermissions because they were set up like theaters. And you actually
not an old man. He was just a complaint about his large prostate a week or 2 ago, but he's not an old man. Come on.
No, I am an old man. I'm just not as old as cinema. But you notice that, if you see the old cartoons, like, let's all go to the lobby. That's because they were doing that in the middle of the film saying, let's all now go to the lobby, go to the bathroom, get ourselves a drink, and come back. Because you wouldn't say, let's all go to the lobby before the film starts.
We stopped having intermissions when we got the talkies.
No, I think they still do it at drive-ins, though. I do. I feel like they do it at drive-ins. I haven't been to a drive-in in like 20 years, though, so no problem.
Anyway, the point is that there was a lot of longer movies coming, but that the length is offset if the story is good. My big thing.
The story was good. There was just too many of them. I mean, it was,
the love story, and then there's the,
But was it a love story? Like, I was not buying their chemistry. I'm sorry. I felt like I was watching Oliver and Felicity.
There was some hookup attraction, but there was no chemistry.
Well,
I never heard Jason Momoa in a room.
we saw his parents together for 5 whole minutes.
That's the porn parody, by the way. Jason Momoa and Amber Heard in a room.
Here's what I'm going to say about the guy who played Aquaman's dad and Nicole Kidman. You notice he didn't take off her outfit to tend to her wound.
Exactly. He's a gentleman.
He's a gentleman.
Also, he knew she could kick his ass.
He saw what happened to that TV. He's like, I ain't touching that outfit.
Either that, I was gonna make a really, really bad joke about smelling like fish, but I won't go there.
The feminist in me thanks you.
Yeah. Anyway, but no, I totally bought their romance. I totally got the idea that 2 star-crossed lovers and
their romance. I bought their romance. Yeah. Except when she ate his pet
goldfish. In the back going, just you wait. Humans don't live that long.
I actually thought Willem Dafoe's character was gay, so I don't know.
Well, it's Willem Dafoe. I thought the Green Goblin, had he not had Harry, was gay. Like, a lot of his characters come across that way. So.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying, he seems very...
He was probably asexual.
He seemed like a guy who was
waiting for the queen, and it was never going to happen.
His loyalty... Well, no, he was taking care of the queen's request to care for her son, because he is loyal to the queen, and I wouldn't cheapen it with the idea of sexual contact.
Okay, so we are all in agreement that Willem Dafoe was the Littlefinger Varys of this. Yes, so he was a eunuch like Varys, and he was Littlefinger in that he was hedging all his bets. If we're putting a Game of Thrones reference on this.
Let's be real, Varys is still very much hedging his bets because he wanted Daenerys' brother, or if you read the books, young Griff. Still better. # still better. Don't get me started on GOT. Just don't do it.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
Lilith and I need to do a podcast, apparently.
Season 8's coming. Winter is coming.
Ugh.
Anyway.
About goddamn time.
Same thing I can say for our Aquaman movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still waiting on that.
Hello.
No, it had its good points, but
I still say Mercy Reef would have been a hell of a TV show. Shame on CW for not picking it up.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Mercy Reef?
Yeah, it's a Aquaman pilot from like what 2000 and something.
The Marvel one.
It's got Justin Hartley, who eventually went on to play Green Arrow in the Smallville universe.
Yeah,
but no, it's a really good pilot. Actually, it was just expensive. I get it.
Yeah.
They even mentioned Mercy Reef in the movie, and I was like, "Good for you, thank you, I appreciate that."
Yeah. No, I actually was thinking a lot about that when I was watching this. I was thinking that was, a misstep that because I've never seen it, but I wish I had, because I feel that probably would have informed us a lot. Yeah.
Just let me know.
Oh, yeah.
So there is actually an article on Yahoo that says, sorry, Aquaman DC superheroes thrive on TV because TV lets them get weird. So you're right. Aquaman probably would have been great on the small screen.
Yeah.
I mean, the Aquaman that we got in Smallville. He's now Hawk or Dove, whichever one.
There's a very real reason why they didn't cast that Aquaman as the Aquaman in the TV series, because they knew that Aquaman was not good from the start. And then it surprised me that they kept him when they decided to bring Aquaman back. That it's this. I don't know why this idea of the surfer dude Aquaman is like idea. Because when I first saw it in Smallville, maybe that is like the norm, that Aquaman's kind of a dumb guy screw up, but I never thought that was who Aquaman was, but it seems like that is what they always do with Aquaman with these live action adaptations.
I think it's more relatable than the actual Aquaman. Especially, like, apparently I'm, like, the only one that hates Harpoon Hand Aquaman. Like, I get what they were trying to do, and I do enjoy the story around it, but the whole Harpoon thing, like...
Speaking of, Peter David got his credit in the end credits.
Yes, he did.
Yes. Calling back to a conversation Charlie Esser and I had with Peter David 2 years ago when legendary Marvel and DC writer Peter David called Charlie a dumbass.
Somebody go help Peter David.
I've been called better by worse.
It's a badge of honor.
I will call it.
The Aquaman story, though, seems to me kind of like the whole Princess Diary story, where you have this royal lineage that you didn't know about. Like, you're a regular person, and then somehow you're special. It's not like I'm a billionaire philanthropist genius, or like Batman or Iron Man or something like that. It's not like I'm a god like Thor, or I've been bitten by a radioactive spider or something. It's just like, it's the dream that everybody may have something in their lineage that like makes them special. And so
Aquaman, yes.
Right. So Aquaman is Joe every guy who can think that maybe I'm special, I think.
But do white guys really need that at this point?
Yes.
I feel like no.
Now more than ever.
Us poor marginalized white men. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Harry Potter, you got Fantastic Beasts.
But
the fragile ego.
DeVito specifically calls out as a fool's dream in Twins. Because because when he's trying to tell him, our mom was this great, this great athlete, and our dads were these.
But she had flaws because she made it with a surface dweller.
You half-breed.
Yeah, but it's just It's the idea that every orphan thinks that. Every orphan thinks that, I don't know my past, so it must have been this phantasmagorical story.
Right.
And,
you just call him
but of course, ironically for Danny DeVito in that scene, it was actually true.
You just call him an orphan. And I just see Momoa singing, tomorrow,
I love you tomorrow.
It's a hard knocks life.
He needs to go home to Lisa Bonet, and she needs to get her man under control.
All right, but I mean, we talked to some of this before, but how much of a hypocrite was Aquaman? Okay, it's all right for him to like leave Black Manta's father to die, but someone like, I mean, I know his father wasn't like the focus of the attack, but when that huge tidal wave hits, it's like, oh, no one better sweep my father and my town.
It's what makes all heroes heroes, bro.
Yeah.
I guess so.
That was his human side.
Same thing to be said for, Peter Parker and Batman and, Superman and the DCEU.
Okay.
Whatever.
And under Bendis' direction.
Did you say Bendis?
Yeah, under Bendis' direction, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bendis. Why is it me? I actually usually have the most positive things to say about Bendis. Why am I the one that gets the Bendis cut? I don't know.
Because it was so great.
We have two.
Bendis.
Who is that?
And Lilith.
Oh
my
Very
God.
upset, Lilith.
The deep one was Lilith.
Anyway.
I don't know.
No.
It's a B+ movie for me. I'll just put that's me being generous.
It's the second best DC movie.
Which ain't hard to do.
Yeah,
and my prediction is that Shazam is going to be a better.
I don't know. Am I allowed to count the 80s Batmans?
No.
No.
Nope.
Anything since Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess
second best.
Yeah, I guess it's.
We're number two. We're number two.
I'll be honest with you. Okay, I'll say it's the second best DC film.
So another vote. It's number two.
It's number two.
Yeah, it's number two with a bullet.
Number two with the poop shit.
Well, we do pump our sewers into the ocean, so it only makes sense.
One day I will get a proper live action Aquaman movie. That is my dream, and I will probably be the one to write it. So. Fingers crossed for you guys.
Well, the porn parody hasn't been made yet, Lilith. You can always start with that.
I'm going to text you. Hey, maybe Marnell can write our fan fiction theater.
We could cast the young Arthur. This is kind
we'll
of together.
keep the regular Amber Heard.
Yeah.
We'll pay her in puss.
I'll just say I am available.
Charlie Esther's available.
I'm just putting that out there.
Hey, he's looking good with the new facial hair.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
I got my porn stash at the ready.
Is he Aquaman's father?
I was going to say, we might need a Jim Gordon cameo, so yes. Hold on to that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Phil, are you going to B+ or just a number 2 overall?
Anything else to say? Well, we lost Phil. Okay.
No, I'm here. No, I'll give it a B, I guess.
Wow, I'm the generous one, really? And I am an Aquaman super fan? Okay.
Lilith is very giving.
There's my drop. Welcome to the club, Marnell.
She's a giver. It's the giving season. Merry Festivus.
My comment can get it.
We've aired our complaints now to the polar feet. And spout big words, and then I'm done. Let's do some shameless plugs and get out of here.
All right. Our guest, Marnell, where can people hear you? Because you do a few podcasts.
You can listen to me on Biters. We are currently doing some between season stuff. We do have a Preacher season 4, so you can listen to us on the Good News, the Gospel According to AMC's Preacher. Facebook.com/Biters, Twitter Biters, Instagram. Apparently, Rob started us Biters. You can find us on Southgate Media Group.
All right, and the best stash on Southgate Media Group, Charlie Esser. Where can people get a hold of you?
Well, you can always write to me at old-fashioned email way to wear Mars and Paws and Aquaman's parents once did at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on the Twitter. I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Gotham and all sorts of wonderful shows coming back in the new year at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieSSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality.
Bing.
And world's deadliest Lilith Hellfire. Where can people talk to you?
If you nerds want to fight me because you're a surface dweller mouth breather, you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. If you want to hook up with me on the gram, at Lilith Hellfire 86. And yeah, that's all I'm going to promo because I really am hungry. So, Philip, wrap it up.
All right, send us your thoughts on this movie, anything coming up, and join us, Capes and Lunatics at gmail.com, facebook.com/Capes and Lunatics, at Capes Lunatics on Twitter, and the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And join us next week for our big holiday show with most, if not all, of the hosts of Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics sidekicks.
It's going down.
It's going to be a mess. All right, for another week, we have been the Capes.
Ampersand.
The Lunatics. I was going to let Marnell do the but...
I was going to say, Alaska.
With special guest.
With her box of wine.
With my box of wine. My juice box.
Whoa. I need that. Talk about tipping it, yeah.
It's Nighthawk, too.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, the good stuff.
Too bad it's on the Marvel cast.
You know they have like Jon Snow Walker. It's like Johnny Walker, but it's got like the Game of Thrones thing on it. I was like, too bad I don't drink that. I don't drink that.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm a clear alcohol girl. I like my vodkas. I like, yeah. Mm-mm.